Hi, welcome to Classroom Community. Our topic is 5 ways to extend the classroom community to parents and caregivers. In today's video, the first of this 5-part series, we will discuss the importance of establishing a communication system. So let's get started. When considering how to establish a respectful classroom community, we can't forget the families of our students. How can we make parents and caregivers feel valued and included? We build communication and trust, deliberate and intentional, at the beginning and throughout the whole school year. We establish a teamwork environment early on so that if and when issues arise, you will benefit from having already established trust and cooperation. So, what do we do? Number one, we block off a few minutes each week or each day rather during the first few weeks of school to phone parents. I know it's difficult to find a few minutes especially in the beginning of the new year or in the beginning of a school year. I've been there many times, but it's one that's an example of short-term pain for long-term gain. So I would say in your day, think about the course of your day. When is it the most likely that you can get away for a few minutes, perhaps before, perhaps after school, perhaps on a lunch break, and take the time to phone. Now, why phone? I personally prefer to phone. Lots of people prefer to email. I think it's a personal preference. I personally would rather that connection that seems to be easier to make on the telephone with my actual voice as opposed to in an email. Emails can be misconstrued. And then, of course, emails are, let's face it, once it's in print, it's there forever. So unfortunately can sometimes be used against us. So I like to make a phone call and I like to spend a couple of minutes just reaching out to parents and asking if there's anything that they would like me to know about their child, if there are any ways in particular that they find that they are able to deal with certain issues that come up. I like to look at the parents as though they are an expert because they are. They're their child's first teacher, and they often will be able to give us the kind of information that we may not already have without them being able to tell us. So that's first is making time in the first few weeks of school to reach every family, and that also gives us an opportunity to get ahead of any issues that might arise. So we're not calling about an issue, perhaps behavioral or otherwise, that we're seeing. We're calling ahead of that, establishing a communication, establishing a relationship. And then that way, once we've established that, then when those issues may arise later, we have already this sort of baseline of trust and of sort of like a sense of teamwork, coming at issues together versus having the parents be a part of the solution versus having just to receive information and being disconnected from what's happening at school. So hopefully that makes sense. And then number two, what I like to do is I created a form that I use when I do reach out to families, and it just is parent communication form. This one is a little bit grubby from some stains, but here it is. And I'm going to switch over to screen mode in a moment and we'll take a closer look. So I just at the beginning of the year, just before school starts, I just grab a binder, prepare a binder, and I just photocopy a double-sided page for each of my students. And then if you have dividers, even better perhaps. And then that way that is ready to go for when I start making my phone calls. So what is on this form and what does it look like? Let's try to see. Okay, so here is the parent communication form that I was talking about. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll just quickly run through this. So student name, student number, and I will I think I'm going to make another video about what I think is the incredible benefit of assigning each student a number at the beginning of the school year. So if you have 20 students, let's say, you would assign the numbers 1 to 20, and then whatever number the student receives, that's their number for the year. And I'll talk in another video about how I think that that's super efficient and in many ways it saves a lot of time. So parent guardian, another parent or guardian, relation to student, phone number, alternate phone number, and email. And And then we get into the next two sections are identical. Which parent or guardian are you speaking to? And was the call requested by the teacher or the parent? And I like to have this section because I feel like looking back on my notes, sometimes later in the year, if I need to refer back, it's nice to see who requested the call. Reason for call or email, date, and then notes, and then a follow-up section if there needs to be any follow-up, and then the identical section here, and then of course the same on the back, so double-sided. That is the form. And I will link that at the end of the video. You can find that. I will link the PDF, and I will also link an editable copy that it'll force you to make a copy. It'll be a Google Doc that'll force you to make a copy in case you want to use it and in case you want to edit this for your own needs. The other thing that I like to do as the year progresses is anytime there are any notes that come to school from a parent, or even if we use an agenda. If you use an agenda and there's a note in the agenda from a parent, I will photocopy that, and any notes I receive, I will hole punch and add to this binder. So after the parent communication page, so let's say this is Johnny's page, after that, I will have added any notes or anything that comes my way over the course of the year that's attached to that student. And it's a kind of nice, it's nice when it comes to reporting time to be able to reflect on those notes and reflect on those discussions with families, with parents. It gives a nice picture, and it offers you the information or data that we can then use when we need to go assess or evaluate work habits and personal learning skills. And then it also serves as evidence when we have to defend those marks that we assign to students. And if there's any pushback from parents, it also affords us the ability to be able to defend those marks by saying, look, this is the data, these are the conversations we've had, this is the follow-ups we put in place, and based on all that, this is why I was able to come up with the grade or the mark that I came up with. And so it's a kind of a nice way to have everything in one place. And so if that's helpful, and there's so many different versions of that kind of form that I'm sure that can be found all over the place. But if that's helpful, I will link it for you. And again, parents, a really, really, really important part of the classroom community. Absolutely. So thanks very much. And thank you for joining me today on Classroom Community. And we'll see you next time.